The cafe was full of noise that afternoon. Plates clinked, cups scraped across tables, conversations overlapped, until suddenly everything stopped, because a small voice, barely louder than a whisper, said, "I just need bread." No one knew then how much that sentence would change them all. The cafe sat on the corner of a busy street, a place people visited without thinking much about it. Office workers came for quick lunches, students stopped by for cheap coffee, elderly couples shared quiet meals by the window. For Daniel, the cafe manager, it was just another long shift. He had been on his feet since early morning, dealing with staff shortages and customers who complained about everything from cold soup to slow service. He rubbed his temples and glanced around the room, counting tables, checking watches, doing mental math. The lunch rush was late, and that usually meant trouble. That's when he noticed them. A woman and a young boy stood near the entrance, unsure where to sit. The boy looked about 7, maybe 8. His jacket was thin for the season, and his shoes were scuffed at the toes. The woman held his hand tightly, as if afraid he might disappear. They chose the smallest table, tucked away near the wall. Daniel sighed quietly. He had seen this look before. People who came in just to sit, to warm up, to wait. He motioned to one of the waiters. "Keep an eye on that table," he said. "They haven't ordered." Minutes passed. Other customers waved for refills, asked for dessert menus, laughed loudly. But the woman and the child stayed still. No menus, no drinks, just sitting. The boy swung his legs under the chair. His eyes kept drifting to other tables. Plates piled high with food, bread baskets passed from hand to hand. Daniel felt irritation rise in his chest. He walked over himself. "Excuse me," he said, keeping his voice firm but polite. "Can I help you?" The woman looked up quickly. Her eyes were tired but kind. "Yes," she said softly. "We're just waiting for someone." Daniel glanced at the empty table. "Have you ordered anything?" She shook her head. "No, sir." He hesitated, then lowered his voice. "I'm sorry, but during busy hours, tables are for customers." The woman's grip tightened on her son's hand. "I understand. We'll go soon." The boy looked up at her, then at Daniel. His eyes were wide, not scared, just honest. "Mom," he whispered, not realizing everyone nearby could hear. "My stomach hurts." She knelt beside him immediately. "I know, sweetheart," she said. "Just a little longer." Daniel shifted uncomfortably. "I really need you to leave," he said, more firmly now. "I can't." That's when the boy looked straight at him and said, very calmly, "I don't need food, I just need bread." The words landed heavier than any shout ever could. The cafe fell silent. Forks paused mid-air. Conversations faded. Even the coffee machine seemed quieter. Daniel felt something tighten in his chest. "Just bread?" he asked, his voice softer than before. The boy nodded. "Mom says bread helps when you're really hungry." The woman lowered her head, ashamed. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "We didn't mean to cause trouble. We were just resting for a minute." Daniel looked around. Every pair of eyes was on them now. He cleared his throat. "Why don't you sit for a moment?" he said. "I'll be right back." He walked toward the kitchen, his steps slower than before. Memories he didn't expect began to surface. His own childhood, his mother counting coins at the grocery store, pretending she wasn't hungry so he could eat. He leaned against the counter and closed his eyes. "What am I doing?" he whispered to himself. A minute later, he returned carrying a small basket. Fresh bread, still warm. He placed it gently on the table. "For him," he said. The boy's face lit up, but he didn't reach for it right away. He looked at his mother as if asking permission. She swallowed hard. "Thank you," she said, her voice shaking. "We'll pay you back someday." Daniel shook his head. "No," he said. "Today it's on the house." She broke down quietly, covering her mouth with her hand. Other things began to happen then. Small things, quiet things. A woman at the next table stood up and said, "Please add a soup for the boy and a tea for his mom. Put it on my bill." Another man followed, "And a sandwich," he added, "for later." Soon plates appeared, soup, bread, warm food that smelled like comfort. The boy ate slowly, carefully, like he wanted to make it last. Daniel watched from a distance, pretending to check receipts. His chest felt heavy, but lighter at the same time. When they finished, the woman stood up and approached him at the counter. "I didn't know where else to go today," she said quietly. "My husband passed last year. I lost my job last month. We've been walking all morning." Daniel nodded, listening. "I prayed," she continued. "I asked God to help us get through today, even just today." He didn't know what to say, so he said the only honest thing he could. "I think he did," he said. Before they left, the boy turned around. "Thank you for the bread," he said. Daniel smiled, a real one this time. "Come back any time," he replied.
After they walked out, the café slowly returned to its noise. But something had changed. People spoke softer. They smiled more. A few wiped their eyes. Daniel stood there, realizing that kindness doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it comes quietly, through a hungry child asking for bread. That night, as he locked up the café, Daniel left a small sign by the door. It read, "If you're hungry, come in. We'll figure it out." Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change someone's world.